Greetings, listener. Please enjoy the unintelligible ramblings of your favorite dynamic trio, Arva, Ferra, and Westy, as they delve into the madness that is retail. Welcome to The Unintelligibles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Unintelligibles podcast, where we are going to ramble inanely about hilarious things, random things. And I am joined today by the wonderful, the incredible Arva.
Hello, hi.
And the always funny, always hilarious, always so sweet, Ferra. She got abducted.
Did I Mike?
Jesus, what the You good over there? Did you...
Sometimes my voice is so high pitched that I speak and my mic just filters it out because it thinks it's background noise.
Do you speak ultrasonically?
Yeah, I'm a bat.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, good point. You know, I want to say I had today all nice and planned out. Literally, woke up at 3. Don't judge me. I'm on a night shift schedule. Woke up at 3. That's my 8. And just like, okay, we just have to go out and do some quick rug shopping. It's like, okay. Rug shopping, so furniture will stop sliding around this wooden floor. Immediately fell down the stairs. My ass is nice and bruised. That's fun to explain, by the way. Why is there a bruise on your ass? Well, you see, just fell down the stairs and hit every step on the way down. I'm
laughing, but I would do the same thing, honestly.
I knew it was going to be me. I was like, someone's going to fall down these stairs, and quietly in my head, it's me. I am the one who falls.
God.
And then on the...
dangerous.
These are the most narrow, thin stairs ever. Like, they just go straight up almost.
Oh.
So it burns your knees when you run up or down them. And on the way back, when it starts raining, it's just like, oh no, why is everyone hitting their brakes? It's just starting. You're good. Keep going. Stop braking.
I swear people just forget everything they've been taught when the rain comes down, as if the rain is like acid or something and they're gonna melt.
It wasn't even raining hard. Like, it was the drizzle. And I just see fucking brake lights everywhere. So yeah, a little bit late today, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I made it only 30 minutes late, and then next week
Almost expected it to be because last time Arva was asleep, and I was like, maybe Westy's sleeping this time, and I thought it was gonna be like Dungeons and Dragons all over again, where there's always one person missing, and we just never can do it.
Congrats to the one person.
I was trying so hard. It's fine. It's a cursed podcast. We are a cursed podcast, and now we are extending that curse onto our listeners. You're welcome.
It's true.
Now you're all going to be late too.
Hey, if you're late to your next appointment, don't look at us. It's not our fault.
Not our fault at all.
It's my fault.
Ferra will take the blame. That's perfect.
You can blame me.
Alright, so for the inaugural episode here, I figure we'll keep it pretty easy on this one, pretty nice and light. Because for the first episode, I get to be the host. I gathered you here. You know, kind of like Sauron with the rings. No hidden agenda whatsoever. In this nice, obviously basement. God, I am a basement dweller.
Basement are we in? Whose basement is this? How did I get here?
This is it.
Where am I?
I don't know. There's no doors. We can't really get back out of here once we're in. I don't think I see a window.
Give me a drink.
Starbats. Arva has the boba.
Yeah, see, I'm fine in the basement. If I got some boba, that's all I need.
Yeah.
Probably.
Be kept captive, but I will be well hydrated.
All right.
No, you won't. It's coffee, actually. You will be dehydrated as fuck.
Oh, mine's tea.
They sell tea.
So...
Why don't they do sell tea? You know what? Fair point. Anyway.
I was making some good points today. I don't know if I like this.
You guys can die of dehydration, but that's not a me problem.
What the?
That sounds like a you problem.
Oh, damn. So, since it's the start of the podcast, the way that we're going to do this, clearly a totally original idea and not inspired by anything else. We have a topic that the host knows, but the other two don't. And whoever has a funnier story can make up a funnier story, or just finds a funnier story on the internet, because I know we all have some of those. You get to be the host for next week.
Love stealing content.
I mean,
Yeah,
all content is recycled, technically.
It's true. Better be.
It's
We
hard.
recycle in this household.
Exactly.
Yes.
Recycle,
Save the
reuse,
planet.
renew.
Repost other people's content and claim it as your own.
Exactly. Please don't actually do that.
Do not do that.
Please
You
don't
can
actually
be
do that.
inspired by content, but make sure that it is original content. There's a difference. So, for this first topic, nice and easy, because I think this is something that all three of us have had some experience in. Customer service.
Oh.
That's the sigh of a former customer service worker right there. Some retail experience.
My
So-
favorite career path.
Yeah, so I've had quite a number of jobs. A lot of warehouse work, a lot of manual labor, but I have had a good amount of customer service jobs too. So before, just kind of get a layout here. What kind of customer service jobs or experience do both of you have?
Fast food. I did catering, which is a little bit different. It's more upscale, but still has its times. And I also did I worked at a craft store, so that was probably the worst besides food service, because crafters are assholes. Oh my god, those biddies are awful.
I fucking hate
them.
people that craft.
Oh,
I hate those guys.
so bad.
I was gonna say that and fast food seems like it'd probably be the worst.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why I'll never do them again. I went through the worst, and it's okay. I built the character, and I don't need any more character.
That's fair. Fair. What about you? Have you had any customer service jobs or anything like that?
I've only had one because I did it once and then I decided I never wanted to do it again. So I worked at it's a great story. I worked at a drugstore in high school and I worked there for 6 months and then I said, wow, this sucks and I hate my manager and I hate everybody that comes into the store. So I quit. And then I got a nice cleaning job where I don't have to interact with anybody ever, and I've had that same job for like 6 years now.
Oh yeah.
Nice. So, because the only customer service job that I had for a couple years, was in a pet store. That's a special kind of hell. Before I moved over to the warehouse side of things of that. So, I have a lot of fun experiences here. I have everything from people buying fish, like, well, it died. It's like, oh, what'd you buy? Saltwater fish. Oh, how big's your saltwater tank? No, just put it in a bowl. Was it a saltwater bowl? No, I just filled it up from the sink. Like,
Oh,
you know,
I get it. Why'd it die? I don't understand.
holy.
or the people every time just walking in. It's like, I need 2 hamsters. It's like, okay, you can't keep them together. It's like, oh no, let's go into the snake. And I'm like, we have feeders over here in like the freezer. We can't really sell you hamsters for that.
What?
Like, sorry. Or 2 of my personal favorites in this one. On my first day, as my boss was showing me around, we rounded the corner, somebody pouring a betta fish into a thermos. And when we saw her, just like, hey, and she dropped the thermos and ran out the door, which my boss replied, hey, free thermos. And just picked it up and walked away.
Oh
Like,
my
what?
god.
Oh my gosh.
Or, and this was the weird one, somebody breaking the hinge off of one of the bird habitats, grabbing a cockatiel and trying to shove it into their pants to hide it. Which,
Oh my.
Ow.
a good idea. Yeah. I'm
Like,
sure that worked out really
under
well
the
for them.
waistband and over the shirt, and the bird was screaming.
Oh my god.
And then
How
they
did
let
this
it go
work?
up into the rafters. I don't know if you ever dealt with a loose bird in a big ass fucking store that is shitting on everything as it flies by,
Oh.
and you can't catch it because that ceiling was like, I don't know, I want to say like 40 feet high. It was a pretty big store.
Jesus. Yeah.
So customer walk in, it's like, hi, welcome in, and then immediately get shat on.
Oh.
There's not a lot of recovery you can do for that.
No.
Come to
there
pet
isn't.
store. Eat shit.
But other than that, there was one experience that really stood out, and I will never forget this one. Good old Black Friday at a pet store. Now, I don't know how busy you think a pet store gets on Black Friday, but before all the online deals and it was pet food on sale, I think I saw the worst of humanity. Like, sweet meteor of death. Let's go. But one in particular, because we had to go in I had to wake up at 4 in the morning. I had to be ready to work at 5 in the morning. We opened at 5:30, 5:45, somewhere around there. There was no one. There was like no line. It's a fucking pet store. But the food is on sale. So we open up and I'm just sitting at the register. And I kind of like look around. I see a woman standing outside the windows and I think, oh, she's lined up for the store, next door. Because there's an actual fucking store next door. I don't think anything of it. Some people walk in. They're tired. They're okay. They're just like doing their thing. They're just getting, 50% off dog food, cat food. Okay, yeah, I respect this.
Pretty good deal.
I want to say it was 30 minutes. And I glance back and the same woman is now staring at me, unblinking. And I don't know what to do in this situation. I'm just kind of like, okay. I turn back, and I'm just looking forward. I'm playing on my phone. And then I hear the most fucking thunderous booms as she begins taking both fists and pounding on the glass as hard as she can, screaming, "Why aren't you open?"
Oh my god.
After I just checked 3 people out. Now,
Why aren't you open?
where she was, the door was maybe, I want to say 12 feet away because she was by the far windows. And I realized, oh, she's standing by the closed grooming door for the grooming department. She's not anywhere near the actual front door.
Oh my god.
But she was watching me check people out and watching them leave through the front door. And when I say she's screaming, I can hear her through the glass, clear as day, screaming, and she's pounding on the door as hard as she can. And another employee was there and just stared at her, mouth open, and then she just slowly raised a finger and pointed over at the open door, which, by the way, had a giant sign that said, "Come in, we're open."
Oh god.
Not good enough.
Clearly not, because she came in, and it was that point I was like, I'm gonna go to lunch. I gotta go to lunch. She stared at me the whole walk over. Like, I'm gonna go. Like, I don't want to get stabbed over a fucking minimum wage retail job.
Yeah.
And this woman begins to scream. He was watching me stand out there in the cold this whole time, and he didn't tell me. And I fucking love my old coworker. She was like, "Ma'am, there was a sign. If you knew how to read, you could have just walked right in." Like, she was done with this shit too. To which this woman replied, "No, he should have come out to my car and gotten me and led me in." Again, I love my coworker of, "Ma'am, that's not his job." It's like, if you pay me, I'll gladly do that for you next time, though. Which the immediate response to that was, throw her arms up, turn around, and leave without buying a single thing after waiting for an hour or hour 45 minutes or so. Almost 2 hours.
Oh my god.
Thanks.
That's so ill.
And I will never forget that. That one is...
I wouldn't either.
That was the first and only Black Friday I worked in actual retail. Because I was like, let me hop on the computer here. Oh, there's like a little warehouse section. Oh, fuck yeah. Like, apply for that now. Because I realized I can't deal with customers.
No.
Between fucking fish thermos lady, bird in pants lady, and then this woman just having a breakdown outside of a pet store that I didn't go out to her car and lead her into the store at 6 a.m. on Black Friday.
Could
So,
you leave that poor woman out there?
look, there are certain types of crazy you don't deal with.
It's true.
That is definitely one of them. So that's my experience with that. I have a couple more, but they're not quite to that level. I don't know if I guess technically you can count when I was doing dog training as customer service. I was technically servicing customers and their pets, I guess. But you didn't have as much crazy. You had more of the stupid people in that one. The only crazy one there is someone having a mental breakdown, and my mentor there was another person there immediately kind of giving her a hug and then wrapping her arms around her neck and dragging her out of the room like fucking Solid Snake. Because
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, like literally she was screaming, crying, like, I don't know what to do, I can't do this, I can't train a dog, and then just out the fucking room by the neck. Because the dogs are getting riled up and about to fight. So she took out the customer instead.
That's wild. I wouldn't doubt that it would still be bad. But yeah, I think that's a little bit different, like going into grooming and stuff like that. Because at least they're, I don't know, they're like paying to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So slightly different. But also, I would not doubt that like half of the people that come in there are insanely stupid, or some that have like a big ego. So you tell them to do something, they're like, well, actually, I know what's best for my pet.
Yep. And it wasn't cheap. You would pay $2,000+ just for about 6 weeks.
Jeez.
We were behaviorists.
Like
we weren't
crap.
trainers. We took on the aggressive dogs. We took on the problem dogs. And so you either had, well, I read on the internet, and then we'd immediately go, all right, keep doing your internet training. You're not getting a refund. Or, no, I'm not going to do that. And it's like, oh, I don't know why you paid me then. Have fun. And I would ignore them for like a day. And then they would immediately, well, okay, let's try it your way. It's like, oh, okay. Good boy. They did not like that. But
I bet they wouldn't, but they need to hear it.
Yes. 95% of that job was working with the people. Because after I got the people squared away, the dogs were fine. Dogs are perfect.
Right?
I love them. But the main topic here is people in retail. Yeah. Generally, not always the smartest, not always the nicest. So I want to turn this over to you. Do you have any funny, or let's go with insane retail stories, or stories of customers being unreasonable, or let's be nice and not say stupid and just be, making poor decisions?
Yeah.
Whoever wants to go first.
I have one.
Okay.
Even I only worked in customer service for a short stint, but people are still stupid, so I still dealt with people that were like, I don't know, they thought that like the saying, it's like customers always right, but that's not true, because usually they're wrong and they don't know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
This woman came in, and we have a section. I worked in a drugstore, so there was a section that was like clearance products, that was stuff that was discontinued or overstock, or seasonal items that they were trying to get rid of. And she had done her shopping, and she came up to the till, and I was scanning her items, and then one of her items, she said that wasn't supposed to be that expensive. It was probably, I remember it was 47 cents in difference. So it wasn't anything crazy, but it was 47 cents more expensive. And I was like, let me go look at like the barcode sticker, and I went over to the section where it was supposed to be from, And I was like, no, this is the right price. And she was like, no, I got it from the clearance section and it said everything is supposed to be this price. And I was like, oh, this isn't a clearance item. Somebody must have taken it and put it in the wrong spot, because my god, customers don't know how to put things away. They kind of just put them wherever they want, and it happens all the time.
Yeah.
You'd think that most people would understand that. But this woman, the moment I said that, went off. She was like, I can call corporate and get you fired, and this is false advertising. I can sue your company. 47 cents, woman. It was 47 cents.
She's willing to take you down for fucking 2 quarters.
Yeah. She wanted my head on a plate for this 47 cents. She was like, I can sue your company for false advertising. And I was like, okay, let me get my manager. And, you know, I was expecting my manager to be like, you know, this isn't from the clearance section. She comes up, and you know what she does? She overrides the price so that it is the clearance price instead. And this woman's like smirks at me as she gets her 47 cents off. And I was so mad. I was like, I can't believe you gave this woman I can't believe you gave her the 47 cents off. She was being a cunt. Just was like, oh my god. And that's why I only worked there for 6 months, because my managers would do that stuff all the time. Also, they would yell at us a lot for no reason. So it's pretty epic.
That's awful. You're better than me. That would have been the last day I worked there.
Yeah.
I was far too timid in high school. It would be different if it was me now, but yeah, this was like back in the day.
High school me was a lot braver. I would have gone further than that.
Yeah.
I would have just taken the item and just hucked it across the store and be like, and I quit. High school Westy was definitely
47 cents.
Yeah.
Bitch. I get fired.
Immediately, damn. You're as cheap as your fucking opinion. Holy shit.
Right? I would have been so mean. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. That's why just like Westy said, I can't be customer service, because I can't deal with people like that. I can't.
I think there's a certain personality type you have to do customer service. Like, I think everyone should do customer service for, like, you know, a bit. Like, you get just that side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because then if anyone who's worked customer service, they're always, when they go into a store, they never... Okay. -1 idiot.
You can tell who
they put things back. They pull items forward. Yeah. They're polite. Whenever there's like a slow checkout and the cashier's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," it's like the customer service people always like, "No, it's cool. I understand." And the people who don't are like, "Well, this is just ridiculous." -1 asshole.
My appointment.
There is one asshole, Thomas, who I swear to God, this disgusting. He never showered. He had the grodiest beard. He had the greasiest, like his hair would drip with grease if he squeezed it.
He was a Redditor.
He really was, and he was this just huge dude. So everyone was always too scared to say anything. But I straight up said, "Like, dude, you smell like hobo ass under the highway. Like, what the fuck?" I could not get fired from that job. Like, literally, like I could do or say anything. I could not get fired. It was actually funny. But this fucker, when he was off his shift, he would come in and he would intentionally move things around, or he'd walk down an aisle and just push things over, and it'd be like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "No, I'm not working." Like, "Why are you doing this? Like, it's more for us." He goes, "I do this all the time. Like at Walmart, I just like to move things around or knock things over."
Heck.
Yeah.
Why?
Jesus.
He was just that kind of person. But I think everyone should work some kind of retail job. Just once, just to get the feel of it. But Arva, what about you? What kind of stories do you have from the good old retail days?
I don't have anything like crazy. I just got like a bunch of little stories of just like assholes over time. Because I think I worked at Michael's for 3 years, and I worked at fast food for about 1.5 years. So at fast food, I was in high school. I was just like last year of high school, grade 12 and graduation. I worked there. And for the most part, it was fairly okay, besides the occasional person who was just kind of rude and had an attitude, which is like, whatever, you're done, I served you, you leave, I don't have to see you again. But there's one woman who tried to not only scam us from a burger because we saw her literally take a bite outside the shop and come in and be like, something about this burger. I want another one. And we're like, well, we literally just saw you take a bite out of the burger, so it's good. Like we can't really. I don't know. We can try to see what we can do, but also we literally saw you eat this. So you'd like ate half of this shit. We can't get you another burger because one bite should have been enough. And
that's the
then
worst.
she also came back after that. She's like, well, whatever. She had a milkshake and she came back after that again and came up to me and I was like, oh, and I wasn't having it that day. I was already like done with the day. I was close to the end of my shift. She's like, excuse me, my milkshake's too runny. And I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, I want a new one. And I was like, well, okay, but I'm not making you a brand new one. So this one's going to be just as runny. And she's like, what? Well, I want it thicker and all this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, yeah, we have to make a new milkshake for that. And we're not making any more milkshakes. Like, it's the end of the day. And she's like, fine, whatever, just get me a new one. And so I threw it out in the garbage in front of her, stared her in the eyes as I did it, poured her one that was just as liquidy because, like I said, we had to hand scoop the ice cream and make the milkshakes herself and keep a stock up. And then we were at the end because at the end of the day, so we had one left. And I poured it for her just as sloppy and wet as the first one and gave it to her and just said, have a nice day. And she like humped and like walked away, but that was it. She was not too bad. But we did have this one that was just, it wasn't like a bad customer. It was like we just opened. It was like 7 a.m. And this person ordered like 18 milkshakes, which we haven't made yet because we make them after breakfast time. Because who the fuck orders 18 milkshakes at 7 a.m.? Yeah,
this is like a motherfucker making a math problem. What the shit?
Holy, it's insane. We joked about it. We're like, is this the math equation? It was like 20 burgers. All of them had fries. All of them were different, and there was like 18 milkshakes, and they were all different flavors.
They were probably ordering for their workplace.
They probably were, and we were like, whatever, we'll just do it. But fuck, it was the worst thing. At 7 a.m., I had to scoop all the buckets of ice cream in my arm. Like at the end of the day, it was limp. It was so sore from scooping like frozen ice cream. And it was like just the beginning of the day too. So I had to go through the rest of the day with like a limp arm because I told them, I was like, I'm not scooping any more milkshakes. And every time I worked at opening shift, I had like fear. I was like, please be a good normal order. Please be a good normal order. Like, please. And it was never happened again. We had a few crazy like nighttime party orders, but that was fine. But that was about it from the fast food place, luckily. Thank God. I was so scared of dealing with worse. We just had bad managers and I just quit. And Michael's, though, I had the same kind of thing where, like, not even on Black Friday, just every morning. We opened, I think, at 8 to 10 a.m. It depended on the day. And holy, those yarn girlies, they're a new breed. They would, like, wait outside the window every single morning because I was overnight crew at Michael's because I couldn't deal with customers at that point. I knew it, so I stuck to like stocking the shelves and I had limited interactions with the customers. So I was there when the store was before it was open, so I got to see other people like line up and go to the parking lot, and like we had people like they would like slowly drive by the window to look at the times, and I'm like, holy shit, what do you need so bad from a Michael's that you have to line up here like 2 hours early? Like there'd be people sitting out there like just in front of the door for like 2 hours, breathing in the window and looking at us and like watching me stock. And I'm like, can you please not do that?
It's a
do you
craft
not have anything else to
store.
do? Like, you can sleep. You know, you could have been sleeping for these 2 hours. Do you know how rare sleep is? Please go get some sleep. Leave us alone. And we had a few people who would do the same and knock on the door and be like, are you guys open? I'm like, none of the lights are on inside. There's a bunch of like people without uniforms on, lugging around big cardboard boxes. And the doors are locked. So read the sign that says our hours and then ask that question again. Because I swear to God, they'll be so close to getting the hint of like the puzzle of, are you guys open? But they just miss it every single time. And it's like,
So
it happened
close.
regularly. And it's like, how do you miss that? I swear we just need to make the whole front of the store open at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., whatever. Just the whole sign. And that was also fine because they're outside. They either went away or they came in later and they were at least decent customers, but it's still like, you are zombies. I did have a few times where I was literally mansplained to in Michael's. This like drives me up a wall. It was only twice that happened to me, 2 different guys. One guy asked me for a specific type of like handsaw or something for jewelry or metalwork, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we have that somewhere." Like, let's. I didn't know exactly where it was because the Michaels changed every week. It was like a new store layout every single week. So it's like, "Oh yeah, it's probably in one of these areas. I'll take you around. Let's see if we can find it." And I couldn't find it in any of the areas. I was like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry. Oh my bad. I'm so sorry about this. I'll check with my manager, see if I can find it." And he's like, "Oh no, I know where it is." And I was like,
Well,
"Oh, well, why'd you ask me?" And he walked over and grabbed it, and he's like, "Here it is. Next time you should do your job better. All this. Aren't you so glad you have such like a loyal customer here to show you how to do your
Oh my
job?"
what the fuck?
God.
If he
And
knew what it
I-
was, why'd he get you?
It took every fiber in my being to just smile at him and go, "Okay," and just walk away. Didn't even say have a nice day or anything else. I couldn't bring myself to say have a nice day. So I just smiled and said okay and walked away. And I think he kept trying to like talk to me because I could kind of hear something, but I literally blocked him out because if I was there for another second, I would have been fired. I could not handle that. That was so demeaning. It was so like, oh, you're below me. You're just a customer service worker. You're so below me. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't do it. Not today. And another one, I had the same kind of thing happen where I tried to find something for someone. Once again, the store was just moved, so I wasn't sure where exactly it was. And I took him to the area where it should be because I was working, I was doing stuff. I'm not also customer service, so I'm not supposed to be doing that. I'm supposed to be taking care of the shelves, the inventory, blah blah blah. And I take him to the area, and he eventually finds it. And instead of just finding it and walking by and either saying, "Oh, thank you for the help" or whatever, I managed to find it, or just walk away and buy it. He had to find the aisle I was in. Like, he was peeking every aisle. I saw him do this, and he found the aisle I was in. It was like, "Oh, so just so you know, it's over back here since you were no help, blah, 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 all this. Oh, it's back over here. You should do your job better," and all this stuff. That I just can't remember. I got such a furious, blinding rage when he started speaking to me again that I forgot what he said. But it was something stupid about like, "Do your job better. This is where it was. I found it for you." And once again, I just smiled and said, "Okay," and looked down and kept working. And he like stood there for a second because I guess he was expecting some sort of apology or like, "Have a nice day." And I was like, "You deserve my foot up your fucking ass. Don't expect anything else from me, you asshole." And that was about it. Despite some just like really bad customers. Oh, okay. One final one. This one's not like a bad customer. It was just she was looking for a knitting book. And I was like, "Oh yeah, we're getting rid of our books currently. Actually, like during COVID, we haven't gotten a lot in, so we're just phasing them out slowly." And I was like, "I can look at other stores if you want for them," and the blah blah blah. And then she just starts breaking down crying, and I was like, "Uh-oh. Uh-oh, this isn't good." And she's like, "My daughter died, and all of the books she left to me got auctioned off or like donated away, blah blah blah." And I was
Oh my
like, "Oh,
God.
Whoa.
I was like, not this bitch trauma dumping in a Michael's." And then so I didn't know what to do. I was just standing there, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh my god, I'm sorry we don't have any books. I can check other stores if you want." She's like, "No, no, it's okay. It's just so hard," and blah blah blah. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm so sorry." And I was in my head, I'm like, "What the fuck do I do?"
You can't really do
I just
anything to
make this
that.
bitch cry. I was like, I can't console her. Like, I have to work. And so I was like, "Well, if you need anything else,
Yeah,
just
see you
let me
later.
know."
You
And I
should have
walked
told
Have a nice
her.
day.
You
Oh
should have
my
told her to
God.
put it in hashtag vent.
Yeah, hey, can you join this thing called a Discord? It's kind of like like a Skype, but not at all. And you could join, and you can share those issues on my friend's channel. That was surreal. That was like an experience where I was like, "Oh my god, was I like an oh my god, I just did I witness that?" And I went to my coworker. I was like, some old lady just trauma dumped on me." They were like, "What?" "Yeah, she told me that her daughter died and she lost all her knitting books." And they were like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Well, she was nice. It's just she was also crying." I didn't know what to do about that.
You
That
know,
was surreal.
as I say, I think, yeah, the same thing did technically happen to me, but it was in a worse. That was during the dog
Oh.
training,
Oh.
because we had one client. She was nice. She was a little. The dog was smarter than her, you know. We'll go with that one.
Oh.
Like, the dog was getting it. The dog was great. She was very I don't understand how to lift my hand. The fuck?
What
Like,
the-
raise your hand up. and then she'd like stick her hand straight out. It's like
Oh.
I'm gonna buy you a compass for this class. That way you can just point up. But I did have that happen, the same thing where I just randomly got a call, and it was weird because she was like a little like, she sounded a little stuff, and she's like, I'm gonna have to cancel the class. I'm like, okay, do you need to reschedule it for another day? Then she just breaks down. And it was the saddest, weirdest thing, because out of nowhere she's breaking down crying. She goes, you know that murderer that they just caught? And I was like, fucking no, what? I wasn't looking at the news, what? Like, yeah, my sister was his last victim. I'm like, whoa, hold up. And she goes, yeah, when I had to speed out, I ran over the dog. And I'm like,
Oh my god!
yeah, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, what the shit? And she's like screaming, crying over the phone. And I'm like, okay, you know, we can get you a refund, but I can't do it over the phone. Just whenever you're good, we'll get you your money back. She didn't want her money back because she liked the class.
Right.
But, like, what do you say in those situations?
Bye!
Exactly.
Hang up the phone.
I basically had a moment of, you know, I'm so sorry. It's like I did like normally, because when I get off the phone with a customer, I'm like, all right, no matter what, it's like, all right, have a great day, and I just hang up. Even if they're pissed off, have a great day, because it pisses them off even more.
Yeah.
And I almost went and I was like, all right, you know, I just yeah, and she's like, I know, and I'm like, yeah, sorry, and just like slowly put the phone down.
It's so hard. You're like, I can't really console them because it's not my job, but like I kind of want to because I feel bad, but also I gotta do other shit. So have a nice day.
It's like, I am not trained to deal with this. Look,
right?
like I offered to give you your like $2,500 back, but you didn't want it, and you've been crying on this phone for a good 20 minutes now. I don't think I can help you any further. Alright, so I think maybe my years here have built up way more stories. I'm an old fuck.
Yeah, I don't have to deal with, like, I don't deal with people anymore because I work after hours. The only thing I have to deal with is the mess that they make, because you know how people are, where they're like, will spill an entire coffee on the ground and then look at it and they're like, oh yeah, the janitor will clean that up.
Oh,
And it's like,
I hate those people.
Thanks.
You're the janitor.
like-
awful.
Projectile shitting in the toilets, and it's like, how the hell did are you okay?
I've always wondered about that.
I've seen some crime scene bathrooms, man.
Yes.
How?
Where
What
you
happens?
where you go in there and it's like halfway up the ceiling and you're like, what the fuck?
I literally, when I went laser tagging once, I went to the washroom and there was poop on every surface in that bathroom.
Oh,
I opened
Oh.
the door and it was ceiling, urinals, the stalls,
Holy
the toilet, the floor, the walls. I was like, whoa, I feel so bad for whoever works here.
It's
But not
like
me though.
yeah, that's not my problem. It is my problem though.
No,
I can't
It
tell
was
if that's
you.
like intentional or somebody just explodes and can't stop.
Well,
Some people
right?
are
'Cause, like,
crazy, dude.
they must have had an episode in the washroom. Like, not even trying to be mean or funny, but like genuinely had like an episode and like threw their poop everywhere. But like,
Just shit their pants and then
you-
just like bolo it around for a while. Like, what?
just go monkey and throw it around.
And then they like
just-
snap out of it like, oh fuck, and
How do
just
you
run.
leave? How do you leave after that? I'm embarrassed to leave the bathroom after just pooping normally because I'm like, did anyone hear that? That's so embarrassing. They just blew that. They fucked that shit up and they come out there just fine, like nothing happened. It's the next person walks in and it's a war zone. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, no, like
I'd rather die in that washroom than leave.
I'm a very
My home
clean
now.
person, and every single time I see that, it's like, your house has to be the scariest fucking crime scene in
I didn't even
America.
think about that.
'Cause you-
Oh.
Because you're like just willing to fucking shotgun and go. Like, what the fuck? I know you ain't going in there and scrubbing your toilet.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh god, yeah, no, that's a worse image. Oh god, it's probably like pile. No, I'm not even getting into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did housekeeping over the summer, and oh my
Oh,
god, some
Jesus.
people, because like we come in once a week and clean these houses, and they don't do anything in between, and they have like 3 kids, 2 dogs, like,
Oh.
and it just, and even then you wouldn't think that it gets that dirty, but oh my god, it's like you walk at the end of the day, you have to take your socks off because they're just like covered in just like filth. It's the nastiest shit, and these are like because it's not cheap to get your house cleaned every week, so these are like upper class families, and I'm like, god damn, fucking pick up a
Jeez.
broom.
Yeah, that's true.
Farrah, I think at the moment you have the worst job between all 3 of us.
I mean, I only do the housekeeping over the summer, and it definitely sucks. I rather would clean office buildings. People keep their offices cleaner than their houses.
I bet. Yeah. Once again, I don't really even think of that. I forgot, like, if people are messy out in public, God, I couldn't even imagine their own home where, like, it's their job to take care of it.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. Like, every time somebody leaves a mess, it's like, oh, your house is fucking gross.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna run away from the bathroom now. Much like in real life, we're gonna run away from the shit splatter bathroom. But yeah, I guess I assume, because since all of us worked retail, since I've had so many crazy experiences, like, I guess this is normal. I guess it's not as normal as I thought. To see somebody stick a bird down their pants.
I wish I had more, but mine are
It might
tame.
be even just like a regional thing, like based on where we live.
It's true. I have a very like
that is
when
true.
I worked at Michael's, there's a very like old white neighborhood, so like very senior. So they might be assholes, but like nothing too crazy would go down.
Well, even the area I worked in, it was the rich, quote quote, rich area, but full of older people who were like, my great grandfather lived here, kind of rich and old, like generationally they've been just inbreeding in this community for a few years. And I got a lot of crazy shit. Like, not only the bird, the fish, the woman banging on the window, the one woman had get choked out like Metal Gear Solid style, just dragged out of a room. There was also the dude who, I wish I could fully imagine a man wearing a full white suit, a sequin tie, a shoulder cape with leopard print.
Oh wow!
A walking cane with, I want to say, a diamond twice the size of his fist. Diamond heavily quoted, twice the size of his fist on the top, and like full on. I don't know what they're called. The glasses on the very edge of your nose.
Oh yeah.
The little
yes.
spectacles. And he wore a top hat, and it was a real top hat. Like, it was a fucking heavy top hat, because I saw him like set it down, and it would like fucking boom. I was like, holy shit. And this dude spoke in the fakest British accent I have ever heard.
Oh.
And he would buy, like, the absolute cheapest dog food there was. The stuff made from, like, roadkill. The horrible stuff. And he would speak in a fake British accent. He only paid in hundreds. I was like, ah.
Oh.
Like,
okay.
if you can afford the better food.
Oh, he could,
asshole.
easily. Easily, he could. And he like would get in his car, and I don't remember what car it was. I just remember I would look at it and be like, that looks like the most off-brand Ferrari I've ever seen. Like, that looks like it's made out of plastic and Play-Doh. And it was always like a bright neon yellow. And I would be like, that is the weirdest interaction I've had. I don't know. One of the weirdest interactions I've had, other than the monks. But, I dealt with monks too.
What?
Jeez, that's so... Oh my god.
So,
Man, I just deal with like
temple.
races. You got all these interesting people.
Again, I thought this was normal because like I would share the story with others. They'd be like, "Yeah, man, this shit's fucking weird." And I'm like, "Yeah, right." Yeah, we also had Buddhist monks. There's a Buddhist temple, and it was 3 monks, and it was the funniest thing because it was like this super old like Taiwanese man, and then like a younger Taiwanese guy who looked like he could have been his grandson. And then just a white guy who looks like his name was Ted. I don't know his name. It looked like his name could have been Ted. And they wore the full, like, robes and everything. And they would buy koi fish stuff. They, like, buy koi fish, and they buy the pumps, and they buy, like, the salt and everything. but they only ever paid in change, and their total was always like $200+, and they would dump quarters out and start counting.
Oh my god.
'Cause
At
koi
least
fish
they
aren't
counted
cheap.
it for you.
Yeah, but the problem there was they counted 25, 50, $5, 25, 50, like one at a time. I sat there, I think, for an hour once, and my boss is like, "What the hell's going on?" He's like, "Man." And he's like, looked at it, he looked at the total, and he just grabbed his head and was like, "Go, just go, take it, I don't care, go, go, go." They swept all their money back in and left, and he just like fucking voided the transaction and just entered it in as theft. He's like, "I'm not paying for that." He's like, "I don't care." And he was done. But yeah, I got fucking Buddhist monks, I got that dude. I got a woman who looked like she was a walking corpse, smelled like she was a walking corpse, whose car was driven by ants, I'm pretty sure, because I carried her food out once. I opened the door, and her back seat was so full of ants when I dropped the bag on there. The color of the seat changed and scattered. And she legit was like, "There's fucking ants everywhere. How do I get rid of them?" And I'm like, "Ma'am, you need a fucking exorcist. There's a demon here." Like, exterminator cannot help you.
Buy a new car.
Your car is, like, I want to say 40% ants and 10% cockroach. Like, what the fuck? I won't forget her.
That's so. Oh, yeah, that would genuinely like.
She always had,
be the rest of
and
my
she would
life.
always walk around and like make you find her the cheapest on clearance food. And then I would, every time she's like, "I need someone to carry that out for me." It's like, no, hang on, you, Colby, come here, carry. And then he'd come back and be like, "Why is that car full of ants?" Like, it's always full of ants and cockroaches, and I think there's beetles or something in there too. I'm pretty sure that car runs on just vile.
Car's got its own ecosystem.
It really fucking did. And
That's insane.
like, that was just a standard, I want to say Tuesday. Like, that wasn't even a weird day of the week. Like, that just kind of happened.
No, Tuesday's when all the shit goes down.
No. Saturday's when all the shit goes down. Or Sunday. Sunday and Saturday, those two.
That's true. Even on the day of the Lord, you're not safe.
No, the Day of the Lord is the worst day because holy
It
fuck,
really is.
churchgoers? Oh my god, they're the rudest people on the planet.
They
I do
are.
not want to be a waitress working when church gets let out.
No.
Absolutely not.
Awful. We actually
So
started a
true.
feud with the church. It was fucking hilarious. Because it was next door to a mega church. And when I say a mega church, I mean like 500 plus people would go there.
Holy
Jeez.
shit.
And then when their parking lot was full, because they had like a parking complex that was 4 levels, they would just come over and park in our parking lot, which, you know, it's like, we don't care. But then they park around the back, so it's closer to the church, and block our like truck loading and then our fire escapes. And we'd be like, "Hey," of course, we called them. I was like, "Hey, your people can't like park here. You need to tell them they can't park in the fire escape. That's illegal." And this fucking preacher's like, "I'm not going to tell my congregation of 500 that they can't do that." And we're like, "Okay, we're just going to call the police and have them all towed then." Hung up.
Oh.
And we did. We called the police, and like people came and started quickly moving their cars, and the ones that didn't had like tickets and shit. And then they would come into the store and be like, "Well, I'm not going to pay this because the word of God is higher than the word of man." And we're like, "Well, that's for the court to decide, I guess."
Yeah, God can't pay
Yeah.
your parking ticket.
Sorry, even God pays his taxes. Get out of here. Kind of thing.
Right?
Yeah, like,
Oh,
that's just a stand. Like, I guess I thought I was having a standard experience. I didn't know that I was, like, isolated in this fucking, I don't know, terrarium of insanity for a year and a half. Was it 2 years?
I couldn't.
I mean, I'm not
That's
surrounded
insane.
by like monks and mega churches.
I think that was the funniest. We had a mega church, and then fucking Buddhist monks would come shuffling in, like,
That's wild.
Okay, I guess I was a little bit of the special case here. I thought for sure you'd have, like, oh yeah, and then there was a knife fight in the parking lot, like, oh shit.
If
I
I
don't think
if
anything
I
like
worked in
that, I
the
wish.
city, maybe But in my town, there's just like
Yeah.
nothing happens here, man.
There's certain areas in British Columbia that are way more likely for that to happen than where I'm from. Luckily,
I was gonna say, I think
besides like just casually.
for clarification, I am in America, and this was all happening in Texas, and you two are from
Oh,
Canada.
okay.
So
Wanted to say,
yeah.
I was like, this is all makes sense because you're from Texas, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't say that because he doesn't want people to know he was from Texas.
I'm not in there anymore.
Yeah, that is like
I
a
escaped.
very
True.
Texas experience.
That's just
Yeah,
the Texas experience.
It adds up. It makes sense.
It's just West
If
Side
you,
Story,
like,
the Buddhist
gave
monks in the
someone-
mega church.
Yeah. If you gave someone like the out of context situations, I think some people would be able to be like, "Oh yeah, I know where that's from." Mhm.
I don't know. I think they
Oh,
guessed
that's the
Florida
difference.
first.
Oh, that's true.
When I hear
Florida
mega
would have
church,
a
I
greater story, though.
immediately think Texas. That's like the first state I think of.
Okay, when I said mega church, then it was obvious.
Mm.
But everything else, the fucking
Yeah, everything else can be exchangeable for other states. I feel like
Florida man, Ohio man,
Oh, Florida man.
Florida man.
like that
My
could
love.
easily.
I want your love, yeah.
I think Florida man is
Alright.
everyone's one true love. All right, so
That's insane. I wish I had more crazy stories. I have like some other like just nice stories or something that's funny, but it's not really like people shoving birds in their pants and ant cars.
the fucking ant. It was a like mobile ant farm. Like
That's
what the?
insane. I'm like skins crawling thinking of that. Like I don't hate ants, but like in my own car, I saw a spider on my windshield once at like 4 a.m. and I almost had to pull over. I don't hate spiders, but I was just so scared of it touching my hands while I was driving. I had to pull over.
You see, I don't mind. I hate ants. Ants are like the one thing I hate the most. I don't mind bugs. Like if there's a spider in the car, it's like, all right, buddy, you're probably gonna die wherever you end up because you're no longer in your environment.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't like panic. But I felt panic when I set that food down and I realized the seats were not like a gray black. They were actually like a brown tan. Like, ugh, no.
I'm just itching thinking about it. That just gives me an itchy feeling
Like,
of like, ugh.
There's a queen in there somewhere. I know it.
right, because otherwise they wouldn't all be hanging out in there.
And they
got, like, a
swarm the
colony of
food,
them.
like the bag instantly. And it's dog food, of course. It's the cheapest dog food, so the bag was greasy, and they were like all sucking the grease. And I'm like, ugh.
Oh, they're having a feast. Ugh, it's so gross. I
I'm
don't
pretty
know
sure I sustain that
Nasty.
colony every week.
She was just actually keeping them around as pets, and she knew what she was doing.
I hate everything about that. Like, I legitimately hate everything about that. Oh
I would have
god!
like that would have been my last day. Oh my god.
It almost.
Ugh.
I said I'm not doing that again. Like, I have enough pool. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
I can't.
I would have been like, sorry, actually, Ant Car is my last strike.
Ant
You
car.
guys could deal with her from now on.
Fucking ant car. God damn. I think about that every now and then. It's like, I hope the ants are okay. I'm
I'll
not
keep
there
you
to
up at
feed
night
them.
sometimes.
I'm no longer there to feed them. I hope they're okay.
I hope they're living. Not in her car, but living.
God, how long before they like run up and devour her while she's driving?
I was gonna say, is she gonna make like a super colony of ants in her car?
You know,
And
I
then
think
they
I
just
was
start driving.
I was aiding a supervillain. I think.
Yeah.
Ant man, but IRL. Ant
Like-
woman.
Like, how do you
Yeah,
not
the
get
origin
bitten by
of
those?
Ant-Woman.
I don't know. And the fact that she just the fact you could just drive your car and she probably feels at least like 10 ants per drive on her.
Oh, there's a lot more than that. There was so many fucking ants.
Oh.
Like, maybe they all just die off in the winter, and then she's like, "All right, they're gone," and then they come back.
Resets. Every summer she's like, "Oh, hey, they're back."
Oh, hey,
Guys,
look, the
it's
new
good.
generation. Hi,
Oh, hey,
grandkids.
I knew your grandparents. Oh my
Mm.
god.
Everything about. Now that I say it aloud, I'm like, that's not a normal experience that a person should have. The more I talk about it, the more it's
No.
like,
No, not really.
But now I have a fun story to tell at least.
that should have probably been a therapy session with Antgar. Now that I said it aloud, like, oh, fuck.
You come in and they're like, "Oh, so what are we talking about today?" So I saw a woman whose car was infested with ants, and I need help. I need help. Please.
I just need to talk about it.
I just need to talk about it.
Like, have you ever seen an ant car? You ever worked a retail job with an ant car?
God, that's insane.
Holy fuck. Alright. We're approaching the end here. We're gonna kind of keep it within the 40 minutes to an hour mark. Well, I do have to say, this one was, like I said, I was really thinking, oh yeah, I bet everyone has crazy stories about customer service, right? Fucking, no, I just worked in the goddamn Twilight Zone, I guess. I worked
the Twilight Zone called Texas.
I worked at a nexus of, like, I want to say meth, and I don't know what that one dude was on who had, like, the fucking pimp cane. And he had, like, a giant ring on every finger where his hand couldn't close all the way.
Oh.
You know, you get the image in my head, right? Like,
were his fingers
yes,
stained from the rings too?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Was that fair?
I have a perfect image of this man.
Yes, and he spoke in just the awful British accent. He had the very trim, just goatee that, like, hung off of his chin. And that was it. And he always wore just colored glasses. Like, it was bright colored glasses every time.
I see him so clearly in my head.
And this dude bought the
man.
absolute cheapest dog food, like the dog food that you get 50 pounds for like $20 level of cheap.
That's insane.
Yeah, and every time he paid in hundreds every time. And he only bought one bag, and then he drove a plastic knockoff Ferrari.
Oh.
And I had so many
God.
questions. It really was, actually, because it was like such a bright neon yellow, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, like, I'm pretty sure you emit light from that thing.
I'm pretty sure that's radioactive, actually. You shouldn't drive that.
I don't know, maybe that's what was
That's insane.
causing the uniqueness, I'll call it.
Unique. That's a good word, because that never means good or bad.
He was a nice guy. Don't get me wrong, he always, every time, he's like, you're a gentleman and a scholar. And I'm like, Sean Connery, what the fuck? And then he would, like, pimp walk away with the food over his shoulder. Like, straight up, he would do the swagger with, like, the cane tapping out in front of him. And I'm like, I exist in this space. I live here.
I would probably laugh if he called me a scholar. I'm sure I'm glad he's a nice guy, but if someone called me a scholar when I'm working at, like, a customer service job, I would giggle. That would be really bad.
Now you have to remember, it's a gentleman and a scholar, because he said it like Sean Connery every time, but only that word. Only, like, he went from fucking English to Scottish for one word, and then back to American English when he was just randomly talking.
Me trying to do a British accent.
For real, like.
Insane.
And every time, I was just like, okay, and I would file it away, and it's like, nah, this is just a regular day in retail. And I didn't really have too many customer problems in the warehouse. I had one person manage to call the phone for my desk. It's like, what extension did you answer? That it's like, what extension did you hit? It's like, well, I need to talk to somebody. Like, no, you gotta tell me. I didn't even know I could call my own phone. Hold up, what extension did you hit? Like, I didn't know this was a thing. And he never told me, and I was like, oh, well, thanks. I just hung up on him, waiting for him to call back. Like, what extension are you hitting? I need to know how to call my own phone. I didn't know I had this power.
Yeah, right?
But, alright, so with that, I think this one's a pretty easy victory here, because Arva, you had a bit more of customer service experience.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I did not know that I was the abnormal one here.
I think this was rigged.
Crazier stories. Rigged?
Yeah, this episode was rigged.
The whole time I'm like, oh yeah, this is normal. Everyone has this experience, right? Everyone's just like living in crazy town and customer service is all I see online. And then I'm talking to you two like, fuck, am I the drama? Like, what? Is that what's happening?
I wish I had crazier stories. God, it'd be so much fun. But most of mine are pretty tame and just like dealing with just assholes in general. But like I deal with that in just living anyways. So it's nothing too crazy and just shocking. Like, oh, how dare that? People are assholes? Whoa.
Yeah, and I guess in your current line of work, They were reoccurring.
Oh, in my current line of work, I've met some fair share of crazy bitches. The internet's a wild place.
Yeah, it fucking is. So, with that, Arva, you are the victor this week for the very first episode.
Yes.
That means
I win.
That means you have
dealt with the shittiest customers.
You did.
Oh, yeah, I went up at what caused.
So, you are now the victor. That means next week you get to think of the topic and surprise us with it.
Okay.
It's all in your court. Do you have any victory speech or final words?
I'd like to thank Michaels for the 3 years of work they put me through and never gave me a raise once for dealing with all those assholes. Thanks, Michaels. Thanks, Michaels. Hey.
Farewell to that sponsorship. Farah, do you have a loser speech?
A loser speech?
Yeah.
This was rigged. I feel that I was not given a fair chance. Fuck Michaels. That's about
True.
it.
Real.
You know what? I can respect that. All right. So thank you all so much for listening to this insanity. You can find Arva at Arva on Twitch, ARVA, as well as Arva_69 on Twitter. And then Ferra the Bat on Twitch, and Ferra Silvertail on Twitter. I am Westy HCC on Twitter, and Sir Westy on Twitch. Thank you all so much for listening. That is the end of this podcast. Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.